everything weird.
Yo, what up, all? So, this is me again, Keith, for the part 2 or the second part of the tutorial for the basics in Visual Studio 2012. So, the last time, I'm going to pull out my. Oh no, this is not the one. I'm sorry. Just got my secret right there. Okay, there. So, this is the one. So, this was the last exercise that we had a couple of days ago. Well, a couple of days. Actually, that was just a while ago, a couple of minutes ago. Just trying to, divide whatever. Now, so what we're going to do right now is to provide a code on a certain object in our Visual Studio. So we need to add one more object. Actually, we're going to add two more objects for this one. The first object that we're going to add is the text box. Okay, so the text box is just like an ordinary text container from which a user can type anything in there. So if I'm going to start the program, the text box looks like this. So you can type anything in there, the user can type anything there, but of course there are no response yet from the program since we haven't done any coding. So I'm going to stop this one. Next is to provide a code on this button. Now always remember, for the basics, wherever you want to place the event, or when we say an event, it's like an action that will be taken place. So if ever you want this button to act accordingly, of course you're going to place the code in here. So for example, if I'm going to click on submit, whatever I'm going to type in here will be displayed somewhere, and that somewhere will be another object, which is the label. So I'm going to place a label in here. There you go. If I want to change the size of that label, I can just go by here under font. Okay, same thing, bold. I'm going to change this one to somewhat like 16 so that it would be pretty much bigger. Now in here, what I would like to do, since this is just the basic, is whatever I'm going to type on this text box on this area, by the time I'm going to click on submit, the objects or the text, the characters that will be typed in here will be displayed on the label. So how are we going to do that? First, we need to know each name of each of the objects we have in our program. First, we have this one, the submit button. So what's the name of the submit button? Of course, we already know the caption, but the name is different. When we say the name, it is how these objects will be called upon during the coding process. So for example, for the button is named, you can just scroll upwards. By default, it is on categorized. You can just click on alphabetical. Well, for me, that's my preference. It's easier for me to um, what they call this, sort out things in here. So I'm going to go to the topmost. The name of this object right here is button 1. Okay, for this one, going up, it's text box 1. Very typical. For label, definitely that would be label 1. You can change the name whatever you like. So for example, for this one, I can change this one to something like, there's a naming convention, by the way. If ever you're going to use text box, then you can start by typing txt. Let's say txt1. There you go. And for the label, of course, the naming convention for this is lbl1. Okay, I can place lbl display so that I have an idea that this object will display something. Okay, so I'm just going to change this one. Instead of txt1, I'm going to change this one to txt input. Now again, the purpose of this one is so that we know how we are going to call these objects. So these are the names of these objects. For example, hey, what's your name, bro? Oh, by the way, my name is LBL display, something like that. If ever I'm going to talk to this object, hey bro, what's your name? Oh, my name is txt input. What's up, dog? Something like that, right? Now, next is the submit button. So since the action will be taking place or will take place in here on the submit button, you're just going to double click on that one and we will be redirected, or we are going to proceed onto the coding window. Now as you can see in here, we have a couple of codes in here, so for now let's not mind all of those. Here's the most important thing that you need to know. This one is some sort of a mini panel from which all the objects that are present on our form, which is this form, is currently being displayed in here. We have the button, the LBL display, okay, the TXT input, and button. Of course, I just stated that one a while ago. And of course, the mother object is the form, because the form is the container of all of these objects. Then next in here, this is the events panel. Now, in the events panel, these are some of the actions that you can do on that particular object. This is the object, okay, button 1, and the event, which is click, which means what's going to happen. So it's like if ever I'm going to click on this button, what's going to happen? So what's going to happen is a statement. So you're going to place the statement in between the private sub and the end sub. So you're just going to provide a command in here. So let's say, for example, if I'm going to click on button 1, what's going to happen is whatever is in text box 1 will be displayed on label 1, or whatever is in, what's the name of this, TXT input will be displayed on LBL display, something like that. So let's go back to the coding window. I'm going to type LBL. Oh, by the way, here's another tip. If ever you are going to type an object or anything on the statement window or the coding window, you will be able to notice a couple of suggestions so that you will not be having any problems in terms of the spelling, in terms of the object naming, something like that. So LBL displays and then dot text, since we are dealing with text, so equals to, what's the name of the text again? That's txt input dot text. Okay, so it's like this. So if ever I'm going to click on button 1, LBL display the text is going to display whatever is in txt input the text, whatever, something like that, right? So let's try to run our program. Just click on start, wait for it to load. I'm going to type something in here. Let's say everything wears. No, whatever. I'm going to type whatever there. Click on submit. There we go. So we were able to provide what they call this, an output. So my name, click on submit. There you go. Random characters, random letters, numbers, and so on. Click on submit. It's in there. Though it looks crappy though, but it won't matter. It worked, right? It worked. That's what matters most. Okay, so we're going to stop the program, the debugging, then go back in here. Then we're done with our second tutorial, or the part 2 of this basic tutorial in Visual Studio 2012. So that's it for now. Bye. Where's the stop window? Where's the stop window? Where's the stop window? Oh my gosh.
Everything weird.